Server is always the telling. That's yeah.
So it's like also good. Knows that applies more. Yeah, so is that it's like it's really nice. And then I was what's it bridge was this church this is about yes your goals are all and here's the thing. It's not it's research their shell parts. He's I might go there. Oops. You need her to this got more like Charlie. We will do that as a term. So you want to be thinking so that's your house. So you try on the event. It's all great. Is that happening for one? But in your maybe 400. I'm as well first year on it's myself out in numbers in this one. It's from trouble in this one bank. So it's like I don't get depressed people for all of our your trust. I've seen the scary thoughts and I'm gonna mention this. You know, I think it would be possible. So the way we know it's great conversation or reading for everything. I'm getting the thing is going to be right like the bear from there's two questions in this because I heard you say that so I mean, so it's one of the bottoms and one leader. People on the phone, on my phone, and then you went to that looking probably it's okay for me to scare. It's for it now. But you can stop this. But I know there's this magic story. It's a format. That's the I have so I'm doing after series. Hopefully, but yeah, I'm so good. You got something. And that I don't like it's fun and you sort of first something to say kind of trying to it's pretty much everything. You will be pretty much this point. So I'm going to say, I don't think it's I'm not clear. I can right now. You don't talk about but not talk. Time it in the right. And they but it's starting out when I'm very hot. But I want it's neither on which the okay, it's like when so When I just looked at it, everybody sign up for anything. Yeah, you can say something, you know, like that ball or something. But you're not going to not even here. Yeah. Thank you. They got rid of her. I did go to Britain. Britain or even comforting. They have like sure Diego even all last year. I seems I just like them. That's pretty sure. Hi, yeah. You just let me drive. Yeah. I just started getting the dog with it. Okay. I don't know. It's fun. So here, that's expect to be something here. This is we and then please we got an exam. I found for social media work and I'm starting a single time. So it's like that. And then like it was yeah, then like you know, so small applications. Like you get your opinion from the It's like it's in really it's like it's like with that very yeah, it's so it's just sorry.
Oh, okay. Not even know how, we're you really good the same. So now we know.
So what's this? For sure, yeah. So with what I was saying, this is that's what you're thinking. Yeah, there's a lot of yeah, yeah. I mean, you are like very honest. I think we're on. Well, we're even it's not. But there is a going in the trade promise.
We're having to get the line.
So it's for me. No, you just go here. Yeah, I'd like to get down. Oh, we have that's I have point my seven. Let's go ahead and conflict to eat when they try to hear about the so spirit when it's not there. I end up I can but friend me have a good time. I appreciate confidence. Within the it's really not bad. So it's amazing. I like to go. It's working for everyone. So it's getting parts. So it's not, it's such a happy word. So it's a knowledge that can okay. That's to really finish. So for me,
It's hard to start on our head. Well, our business is all. I mean, yeah, no, that's this is in terms of heads. Good work. The government things that's big money. I want to learn to put those continuous ignorance. It's supposed to last the control. Touch that. How I wish the words and words are just leaving me with. I actually found her back. Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, not bad in the rights. Yeah, yeah. That and these vaccines. I'm doing thanks for the care. Like, I'm excited to have you. Recognize that. Um, that's really fun. Yes. Quite. For that. I am here for a night to get it's still. No, I started kids. So, yeah, that's still very, very great. I think top or we should be together. I mean, it's all right. It's I just okay. See how this will be. It's not really good. Sensation. Whoever got it. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, for seeing it. Yes.
Yeah. See from nurse, then I'm like, that's unsettling. Please find your seats. Where do you know? Where it started? Wednesday, first on the agenda, our student concern and general business, whether any in-person student concerns. Okay. Hello, everyone. So, so, my name is Melanie. I'm a senior physics and economics major. I was previously an SGA member and the sponsor of divestment bills in two previous years that have failed. I'm glad today that we're taking this up again. Um, Today is the beginning of Yom Kippur. You know who does not care that it's a holiday? The Israeli occupation forces. Just a few hours ago, Israeli occupation forces shut down all of East Jerusalem, restricting all movement. The Zionist Institute has also ordered all people of Gaza City to leave. Where should they go? Who's to know? As all of Gaza is a death trap. Just today, a sacred holiday also saw the deaths of 21 Palestinians. And it's a good assumption to make that a good number of them are children. The Zionist goals is nothing but complete genocide and elimination. So the Zionists have no problem doing the evil work of genocide on the high holiday. But I know some Zionists and Jewish exceptionalists have claimed that today is not the day to bring this resolution to a vote. But I ask you this simple question. The genocide is occurring on Jewish holiday. It is perpetrated by an ethno state that claims to represent all Jewish people. Should we wait until tomorrow or the next day to do the little work we can do in our power to stop that genocide? You know, many members of the Ku Klux Klan claim to be Christians, but when you turn around, when we turn around and firebomb black churches, I wonder if anyone would claim that we should not condemn the KKK at an SGA meeting that happens to be on Ash Wednesday or any other holiday in the Christian calendar, because the members of the KKK also happen to profess the Christian faith. I'm not personally a faithful person, but I've been raised in a family with strong religious beliefs. What I've been taught is that a holiday is the perfect day to practice your faith. This day, in particular, is a good day to practice repentance, teshuva, to show regret for the sins committed that year, and to resolve not to commit the sins again. I similarly urge you to pass the BDS resolution to show regret for the role we as a university have played in the commission of the sin of genocide, and to resolve in concrete ways to prevent this university from being complicit in that sin. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Are there any other in-person student concerns? Yes. Years ago to urge SGA Cops to give this designers pressure and push the ES to forward another week. State violence groups that are pressuring SGA to push the framework have never cared about fair elections and never followed the religious tolerance when they were in SGA. I was at the legislature legislature last year, and when we were reviewing the election calendar, I asked specifically to move it so that the elections and the referendum would not coincide with Eid. When all these, one or two holiest holidays, and there's some calendars celebrated by thousands of Muslims on our campus, and the majority of Palestinians whose families are directly affected by the genocide in Gaza. I was told no. I was told by the previous SGA president, quotes, that SGA did not accommodate religious tolerance because they accommodate one, they have to accommodate them all. And now suddenly, when accommodating a religious holiday, coincidentally also results in pushing BDS back priority, some of these Zionist groups, the same ones who spent thousands of dollars bribing people during the SGA elections, are now talking about fairness and inclusivity and allowing the democratic process to move forward unhindered. This is hypocrisy, and the push to delay the bill has led to twisted rules once again to silence Palestinian students. The same student body that voted in favor to have these two weapons manufactured last spring wants to see it pass this bill. And it's your responsibility as legislators to represent those interests and pass this bill. In addition, I want to acknowledge that the student body was present last GM and witnessed the emotional outburst by the state president Mark Ryan against one of our legislators, and that kind of outburst does not go unnoticed, and we would like to be acknowledged by the ethics committee. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jamie. Are there any other in-person student concerns? Seeing none, there weren't any student concerns on the form, so we now move on to roll call. Are we lecture? Are we having you shut up? Or are you silent? Please all separate. Business Mohammed. Business Tala. Cameron Pizza. That was our. CMS Sophia. CMS Daniela. CMS Zayed. CMS Mohammed. CMS Hamid. Engineering Mohammed. Info side Ryan. Info by Sarah. North Hills Army. Of campus neighboring Claire. Of campus neighboring Malika. Of campus commuter Fargo. Of campus commuter Channel. Of campus commuter Romesa. Of campus commuter Hassan. Of campus commuter Merritt. Of campus commuter Ryan. Of campus commuter Tristan. Chloe Cole Alexa. Chloe Cole Thompson. Further policy data. South Campus Comments Club. Here. And then South Bill and Eden. It's 24 upstairs present. We officially reached quorum. I now call into session the eighth meeting of 2025-2026 legislative session.
I was told by several of my constituents who said they couldn't be here for 2 p.m. that they had said strike. You said there were no online student concerns. But there were any. This morning, it's ready to send out every agenda. Oh, okay. Maybe they use the old form. I think all my constituents were able to make it today that they had to fill out the form as they were starting to thinking. I think maybe they used the wrong one. Yeah, I didn't see anything on the document. Sorry. Okay. In any case, we can move on to the next agenda. Even just the right officer's time. First up, in the first part, for the first meeting, we have some legislative appointments. So hey everyone, Diego, his son and I, and sometimes Monica has been helping out with doing legislative appointments and interviews. And we have four people that we want to put to you guys today. Each of them will call separately. They'll give you a little bit of, they'll tell you a little bit about themselves. You're welcome to ask some questions, and then we'll go into creative voting. So first we have for the East House representative, we have Bishop already. Show introduce yourself. Hello, I am Nishita Reddy. I am currently a junior. I am a social data science major on the government and politics track. I'm also majoring in communications on the public relations track and I'm learning general business. I'm passionate about using my academic background and experiences to bridge the gap between data-driven insights and the use of effective communication in policymaking. Looking ahead, I do want to go to law school and pursue a career in entertainment and media law. Currently, I work in the undergraduate student legal aid office as well as the student organization resource centers where you guys are located. And I gained valuable insight into supporting and advocating for students. I hope to bring this perspective into my role in SGA by representing the diverse voices within VSOS. And I will do this by advocating for resources that enhance student success, as well as working along with fellow representatives to create meaningful change on campus. I'm excited to serve as the VSOS representative, and I would look forward to learning from and working alongside all of you. Thank you. Are there any questions for you? That's the only thing for me is that's like we have again. That's kind of how this meeting process works. Yes. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much for your interest in this position. I want this, I am one of the I'm currently also representing. And there's a lot of the challenges that the department and the college in general is facing. What are some of the specific initiatives you're looking to that you're looking to engage with some of the leadership of the departments about?
Okay. Thank you for asking that question. I do want to acknowledge that VSOS is a very diverse school. Like we have everything from psychology to economics. I think the main thing that we have to do is focus on bringing community within our school, finding common things within all of our majors, and which is social sciences. As a social data science student that has a major that has a bunch of different tracks that are all within the Vsauce school, um, I know that there are a lot of challenges in bringing those together. And I think if we're able to pinpoint those social aspects we can work together as a group, and I feel like that is the main thing that we should address as BSOS representatives, bringing ourselves together as a college.
Thank you.
Great. Is there any other questions for the applicant? See none, I'll ask the applicant to step out. I got one. You, yeah. It's too close. She's everyone else is the building's not personal approach.
It's possible. We'll give it some time to log in, then we move forward. You said it. Yes. Oh, saw that posted in my chat. The reason I said it does take a two-thirds majority to put my because people are secret to say that. Has anybody logged in? You guys logged in? We're not. Okay. Go in. There are any issues logging in. We won't be presenting the better and this time around due to some concerns regarding thoughts in. But for those who can't vote, just make it back. I'll include you in the final tally. So in that case, I live in favor of the upon motion. You who seconds that motion? Two parents. I think this was 60 seconds ago. The motion has been created. You guys see the motion? No. We can try that again. You guys see it now? So, now these rules will go with the figure itself. So you think anything you want to do? All those in favor? One still. Close. All those abstaining? Yes, yes. So with a vote of 23 to 0 to 2, this confirmation passes. Someone should have. Yeah. Then you can have a confidence in here. Make sure to grab one of these all backwards and react. Yeah.
Right, for a second, I thought we have Jordan Sheet for the dental representative.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan B. I'm a freshman going to politics major in Syracuse, New York. I participated in since being a high school where I was student council president, class president, member of a small group of advisors to my principal and 12 principal's cabinet. I'm highly interested in politics on all levels. I'm very active in progressive spaces. I'm also a big fan of basketball and baseball, and I enjoy playing Washington tennis. As a legislator, I would like to be a local leader in the new progressive movement on campus. I love learning about legislation being passed at SGA and where the line of each individual lies in each issue. I plan on taking part in the SGA legislative process, and eventually I can propose legislation that I can help my constituents during the ethical. I believe that pushing for the divestment referendum to be an action, $90 exchange, the UMD, UPass program were the main initiatives that I enjoyed. The first two I heard are currently being worked on yesterday, but the last one, I believe, the UMD UPass program, I think I've been seeing about that in the past as well. But I do believe it's crucial because of the opening of critical line for the many students don't have much money, but many like to be able to travel where they need to go to become much different. And I look forward to working with everyone for a better future here at MD. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions from you?
Hello there. Very impressed with your background, plus makes to play baseball. So hopefully this kicks off our SGA softball team. Um, I wanted to mention, so wait, what year were you again? I'm a freshman. Freshman. Okay. So we had a long discussion about UPass last year. But there was some concern that it might actually increase costs for a lot of students. Yeah. As it is a fairly expensive program. It also wouldn't work on purple work, as that's not on code law jurisdiction. But that's not the thing. I just wanted to say I'm working on transportation stuff as well. And I want to know if you have any like alternative ideas for how we can transportation for students here. I will definitely love to work. I don't have any ideas currently, but I think I definitely consider them interesting. Also, what's your favorite baseball team? I mean, I used to be an aspect where they still team, but now I'm moving to the Raiders. Now, I'm a Dodgers fan. I don't for everything. So, very good. Chill. It's awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm excited about what I'm with you. I'm also looking for alternatives. Let's see.
Okay. Any questions for that? Go ahead. Hi, my name's Isa, I'm the current Cambridge representative. Also love playing basketball, so we can start an SGA basketball team as well. My question to you was, as a community representative, I've noticed a lot of students don't even know that they have a representative in Cambridge. A lot of the time, like even around my office hours, people are like, "What is this? Like, who are you?" And so my question to you would be like, how do you kind of increase your representation? Because we are a resource for these students so that they know that you are there for them to be able to help.
I don't know if this is like a common thing or not, but I was honestly thinking about putting up posters throughout all three buildings in their community, putting up posters in there and saying, here, this time, and speak to me about that. I also like to go to our companies, each company, think that would be really. I could just ask some people that are there, with my case, if they need any help with information.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for the applicant? See, none. I'll ask the applicant to step up. Typically, upon the meeting, he was going to confirm that the CMS representative seconded. Okay, so in that case, we go over here filling. All those in favor? Okay. One abstaining. The vote of 25-0 to 1, this confirmation passes. It's something I will get now. I don't think Blacker is with us right now, so you can just kind of sit with us. Yes, on.
Okay, moving on to the next one for Occupants Student Representative, we have Abdurrahman Hass.
Hello everyone, my name is Abdurrahman Slak. I'm a junior majoring in cell biology and genetics and UNTRAC. My experiences as an EMS volunteer, hospital volunteer, and teaching assistant at the chemistry department have strengthened my commitment to service, teamwork, and supporting others. As an office student myself, I understand the unique challenges that community students face with transportation and scheduling to stay connected in campus life. In this role, I hope to maintain consistent communication with the community through newsletters, survey, virtual office hours, while developing a comprehensive community resource guide and having spaces where students can voice concerns and connect with one another. My goal is to serve as a reliable bridge between SGA and community students and change transparency, advocacy, and strong sense of community and belonging.
Okay. Are there any questions for the applicant?
Hi, I'm Melanie. I'm one of the engineering representatives. I just had a question. I know you mentioned that you want to increase senior students like feeling connected to campus and campus life. Is there any specific initiatives in mind or any specific actions that you were thinking of?
Yeah, well, until like I'd say last semester as a community, I didn't even know about the SGA or the CAD representative. So the biggest thing I would try to do is, make the information more publicly available through email, just so that students know that there are representatives, people they can talk to, and maybe advocating for for community students. It's sometimes hard to stay at 6, 7, 8 for meetings or office hours. More sort of virtual or remote mediums allows us to voice their concerns.
Okay. Are there any other questions for the applicant? Yes, go ahead.
Alright, so I think two of our committees right now that need to be more like legislators and our SNP, which is sexual and misconduct prevention and health and wellness. And it sounds like your background would actually fit the role of it. So I just wanted to ask if you'd be interested in joining those committees. I know they'd be very happy now.
Yeah, I think I definitely would be.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions for the applicant? See none. I'll have the applicant step out. Step it back. Actually, helps. You're back. There we go. Your name is confirmed by the other. The lines are in voting. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? With a vote of 25-0 to 1, this confirmation passes. That's fine. You can pass those.
All right, and then last but not least, we have a first year representative, Alina. Come up and introduce yourself. Hi, everybody, and good evening. My name is Alina Olenia, and of course, I'm the applicant for the first year representative. Now, you don't need a suit and tie to lead, just be the leader students and tie things together. This quote has always resonated with me because as the eldest daughter in a Latino immigrant family, Leadership for me hasn't come with titles or polished outfits or fancy state dinners. Instead, it comes with responsibility, resilience, and the drive to create opportunities out of nothing, not just for myself, but for others. Whether it was helping my younger siblings with homework at the kitchen table, or launching an online study hub that now connects thousands of students across the globe to resources and scholarships, I learned that leadership is about bridging gaps and lifting others up. This is especially important now as there are people in our society who would jump off their bridge, especially when they had a chance to burn ours. Here at the University of Maryland, I'm excited to bring that same energy into the Student Government Association. I want to advocate for equity, amplify first year student voices, and work on initiatives that make our campus more inclusive and empowering place to the point where you feel pride when someone asks where you go to school, even as the do you turns into did you as you walk across the stage. My goal as a legislative member isn't just to take up a seat, but to make sure every voice is woven into the bigger picture of what we need to lead. And as for that opening quote, I actually wrote it myself. And because it reflects not just how I lead, but how I live. Time to piece together one thread at a time. So much. Are there any questions for me? Hey everyone, I'm listening. Welcome to the year event. I just want to ask you about last year we got ice all of our campus from career and wanted to remind you of that there's a lot of Latinos on campus that could be targeted and we want to know what we would do to try and keep them safe if we can. Yes, I 100% agree with that. Even someone who is a U.S. citizen, I myself can still be targeted. As you can see, ICE does not show any mercy. Even means just speaking my whole language, the language that's in my house, is a target for leading profile by this organization. So it's keeping people and organizations that reflect those powers to dehumanize and to prosecute these people are minority people, especially with having such small but powerful Latino population on this campus. And so keeping people like that away from the youth community, or that is not what we stand for and that is not what we represent, is important. I will do whatever I can in my power as a legislative representative to make sure things like that stay on our campus as far as we can.
I'm Troy and I'm one of the CMS representatives. This is kind of similar to what Jan asked about earlier, but DEI is another committee on this year that's for very young people. Would you be interested in joining that committee? And if so, what types of initiatives are you interested in pursuing?
Yeah, DEI is actually my top choice for the committee I hope to join as a legislative member. And I find that it is important that even though we attend a PWI, that doesn't mean that we only amplify the voices of the majority on this campus. Making sure that every voice is heard, no matter how small that minority is, we need to make sure these voices are amplified, heard, and well represented. Because if we're listening to them, it doesn't do anything if we're not taking what they're telling us and actually doing something and actually putting a motive for what they want us to do. So we need to have deliverables and actually deliver on what they want us to do and what the people of this campus want to see out of SGA. I feel like having a physical thing to show for it is what I would hope to offer as a member of the DEI committee.
Very much. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Mary. I'm off-campus commuter rep, and so I'm also on the DEI committee. And what we've been hearing a lot, anyway, one thing, especially because it's Hispanic slash like Latina Heritage Month, one thing that we've been hearing from Hispanic boards is that they've been feeling kind of suppressed by the university, and like especially with a lot of what's happening, how the university changed their DEI office, well, I guess Office of Diversity and Inclusion, they changed into belonging community as a result from the pressure. A lot of these clubs are feeling pressured to take like cultural, like specific cultural references outside of the names of their clubs and their events in order to be supported by the university. Do you have any ideas of how to combat this? Your explanation doesn't have to be great because this is something that I've been thinking about a lot and I'm not really sure the best way to go. I think the best way to combat this is, especially as someone who's often found themselves in places where they are not welcome, but they are not the majority, but they're of course not supposed to be there. As somebody who is in a male-dominated space, in a white-dominated space, as a business major, then you just have to unapologetically be yourself and unapologetically take up space. Yes, let's be proud that we are Hispanic. Let's not be afraid that we do support diversity, equity, and inclusion. No cookie cutter name around there for what the federal government wants us to say. Let's be proud in what we have to offer and what we have to say and how we identify.
So much for any other questions we have here. See, I'll ask you, okay, Stefan? Spencer, sure. Voting, all those in favor? And all those opposed? All those abstaining? With a vote of 26 to 0 to 1, this confirmation passes. Zero, but anyways. Perfect. So, just before we move on, let's like to give a little speech to kind of just explain some things that have happened. So, just before we get into the next agenda item, we'd like to say a couple of things. I've been told by many people in the SGA that they're interested in the motion to table. I have been informed that the US Senate has extended the deadline for sustainable inquiry submissions until October 29th, giving you guys mutual leeway. I encourage this motion heavily, considering the timing of this bill having fallen down before, which have prevented Jewish students from participating in today's GBM, and the doxing, which has unfortunately targeted multiple members of the SGA. But this is not something I can force you all to do. I must remain impartial when it comes to matters of the SGA. The decision on how we move forward is ultimately up to you guys as legislators of Student Government Association. But I encourage you guys to really think this through. Further down the agenda items we present the calendar, I'll explain how exactly the motion to table works and go from there. Thank you. We now move on to cabinet updates. First up, we have the Director of Academic Affairs.
Okay, hi everyone. As the legislators, welcome to SGA. We do director update. It's really fun. We get to tell you guys what we're doing in our committees. So I'm Karen, I'm the director of academic affairs. It's nice to meet you once. Hi, Dr. Madrid. So one of my big initiatives right now is getting SGA to be our accredited course for you guys, because you guys do a lot of really hard work right now in SGA. We want to make sure that you're getting credit for that, because that can really help validate the time that you're putting into this. And it's really an academic, there's an academic end to that. So I'm meeting with the director of the Book Policy Program tomorrow to pitch it. We have a pitch, like rough draft of a pitch that's in working progress. We're really excited about it. And that process is taking its steps on, and it's going through the motions right now. Hopefully we can get something to you guys more formally for you guys to look at and see like what a syllabus would look like and all of that in the next like couple months. And it has to be a faculty advisor, got proposal list, and get it approved by the Department of School and Education. The other big initiative that I'm working on is kind of a cohesive, kind of all encompassing a lot of different departments, a lot of different committees within SGA is TA trainings. So working with RNT to create a TA training survey, working with them right now, we're going to get a draft of that survey finalized for them next week. After meeting with SMP, I met with them last week at Health and Wellness, the Conference Center, and also the Teaching, Learning, and Transformation Center, TLTC, to talk about a lot of different trainings that we're looking at. So, and we're also doing department outreach for TA trainings to figure out what the departments are doing, which involves still emailing a bunch of people. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, and then bunch of meetings, like I said, library student advisory group, CLC, S&P, like this, yeah, and then also I'll have the new director on Friday because I need them for my meeting on Monday. So yeah, that's from academic next.
Are there any questions for the director? Sina?
Thank you.
Now move on to director of the comms.
Hello everyone. Happy October. Um, just a reminder for headshots, you guys should get them in by next week. By next GBM, October 8th. There are no more slots open at the headshot photo booth before the 8th. If you have a professional looking headshot with a white background that also shows her. And also for new appointees, my name is Kiara. I'm the director of communications. If you guys have a headshot that you would like to send me that works with that criteria, then you can find me on Slack. But yeah, for the newsletter, I reached out to DIT and I have not gotten a response yet, and that's for the student mailing list. But I am working with research and tech to move forward with that. And I also met with them yesterday during the committee, and we have a lot of stakeholders in this initiative. And we had also decided to make the newsletter a monthly thing with more info opposed to a weekly newsletter with a smaller amount of content. We are also still playing around with a specific content during the newsletter. Yeah. Website slowly but surely adding headshots and changing certain information. If you have any website edit requests, I do have a form for that. Just wanted to let you guys know or remind you again. The elections page is also under the student. And I am starting to work on the finance section of the website as a hidden page. SJ info posters. We're starting to remake the poster with updated information because some of the information from the ones that are put up around work and stuff have outdated information with the committees and things like that. So we're currently remaking that in committee and found that we can get posters printed out soon, which we're looking at credits for. Yeah, for the Instagram, we got up the GBM agenda, the CivGov survey post, and we also are getting posts up soon for the fall break reset and the plastic post training. If you'd like to do an Instagram takeover for a day, slap me in per usual. And for forms, I have those at the bottom if you guys need them. Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Directors of research and technology.
Carry on, quick little fun fact. It's actually a third of the way through the semester. Can you believe it? Also for the new appointees, hi, Alex there.
Hi, Priya.
We are the directors of research and technology. So, first things first, we started sending requests for student samples through the Office of the Registrar. IRPA refused to actually give us direct assistance. Currently, we're waiting for the registrar to approve some of our requests. We're still trying that out with them, but unfortunately, we've reached that point where we're still undergoing some of our collaboration with other committees and some legislators. But those requests are getting bottlenecked by us not yet having the registrar's assistance. As soon as that comes through, we'll be opening the floodgates and hopefully getting a lot more done. But in the meantime, we are in that waiting phase. As Karen mentioned, we've also been regular with last committee to discuss the action plan project. We currently have a list of other game districts we to meet with or to get started on the project. So get other things done.
And as of our potential collaboration with the Office of Undergraduate Research, we haven't received a response from Dr. Killian yet, but we have begun reaching out to alternative administration within the Office of Undergraduate Research. However, as for some good news, we got a response from DIT. We're currently in the midst of looking through like previous speakers Google Drive. So I gave them all their Google accounts. I'm gonna look through both the curriculum and the academy with DIU. And I think I'll get a response back tomorrow, so keep all updated on how that is going. And fingers crossed we'll go through this.
Okay, that's great. Are there any questions for the director? Seeing none, thank you so much. We'll now move on to directors of DEI.
Hi guys, hope you couldn't be here today given different things that's happening. It's not really many updates today. We do have a meeting with Dr. Dodge this Friday at 5 p.m. to do introductions. We just talk about different things working on and things like that. And if you haven't met our deputy, this is Ari right here.
Hey guys, I'm Ari. I was trying to talk about the new projects and initiatives that we have coming up. Some of them are already being submitted, so the rest of them that we have coming up are our mini accessibility audit, a resolution to reaffirm SGA's commitment to DEI and sustainability, Project Sunflower, a resolution to prioritize accessibility in university universal design, and an act to allocate additional funds to the gender affirming care initiative with the LGBTQ plus category set. Thank you.
So, and my God, it means something because thank you.
Thank you.
I would just like to thank all the researchers that reached out to me, like their words really like made my day last night this morning. So I'd like to say thank you to you guys who reached out. But that's all. And DI is still the best committee, so please come at 6 o'clock on Mondays at 6 p.m. at SGA office. Thank you guys.
Thank you. We now move on to the directors of office.
Hi everyone, I'm doing well. For the new appointees, my name is Lisa, I'm one of the directors. And for updates, so today, this morning, we met with Legendary Novelist, who's the director of voice. And we gave some a little bit of insight into kind of what the UC is going through right now and ways that SGA can help out. We're still working with them to kind of create some concrete initiatives. And then this Friday, we're meeting with Dean Lucia from School of Life Health to overview more of the 100 health module. And so this morning, we also reviewed slides from the UHC for that.
We also have a bi-weekly meeting with Joshi, the director of the counseling center, next week. So we'll just be following up with him, and we've got some collaboration projects and stuff with him. We also just reached out to Christopher Moore, who's the director of dining services. So we have some projects there that we'd like to do, such as planning a purple zone wide smart play program. So we'll have more updates for you guys next week.
Thank you so much. Questions? Thank you. Now on to the directors of civic engagement and environmental affairs.
Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. Since everyone else introduced themselves again, I'm Kate McDonald, I'm the director of civic engagement. My co-director of governmental affairs is not here today, but his name is Simon. So for updates, I had a meeting with
the government affairs of the university to discuss our fall lobbying day. We're planning for November, focusing on priorities of mental health and student needs. In addition, we've been working on student group outreach to discuss SGA as a whole, civic committee, and civic engagement and the importance of urban. When I talked to the director of church spoke, she said that the business STEM majors and graduate students are frequently underrepresented groups of people. So I'm hoping to target those groups of people with student groups in addition. Um, there's also the National Student Vote Summit, November 12th to the 14th, that has some spots that can be sponsored. So if anyone is interested in attending, please Slack me and I can give you some more information. Next week is National Voter Education Week, and Churchville is having tabling that I'm going to help out with. And then as for governmental affairs, so I wanted to thank Malika, Gavin, and Claire for comms requests and ELO bills. We already have 2 responses back for candidates' Instagram posts and town hall at the end of October, hopefully. And then we began outreach to student organizations and surveys about SGA in general. And thank you, Kara, for posting these surveys. If you guys have any ideas, you can find the link to ideas for Maryland legislation and federal legislation on the Instagram page. So please fill out those forms if you have any ideas. And if you have any questions or any ideas, please feel free to stop me. Have a good night.
And we're all thinking about here, so let's say
Hey everyone, to start off, we had a good meeting, we on Mondays, we really want to have time. Thanks out for submitting the Instagram bill that you guys will be seeing soon. We also are working on our 2 finance bills for Reclaim the Red and our S&P tailing resources. We confirmed the finalization of XP up to the 30th, by 7 p.m. So we'll get back to you with more information regarding that soon. And I also just updated and Hassan about the DBA Run tabling event. That's October 15th on 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we were able to come to the conclusion that this event now counts to one of your outreach hours for the month. So please sign up if you are available during that time. Thanks to the spreadsheet over there. But yeah. And then one of our major missions that are coming up is our Greek Life 1009 training with the leadership. So we had a meeting recently and we went over all the programming and then we worked on things that just the logistics of the event. And then we also have our that. And then our second event, also the Greek Life, is October 29th, which is a homecoming, a safety event with care. So we're working with the PHA community care staff that's planned out. It's going to have 20% of all Greek Life attendants will be required. And then, so just other issues. And then lastly, as mentioned earlier, we had a meeting with academic affairs and just started with a undergrad TA training and just whatever. So that's about it. Full member and shit tracker. So there's no student groups.
in terms of updates, it's going to be pretty self-explanatory. And for the new legislators, I'm helping them their student groups. So please be interested in doing it because it's a pretty it's an easy community. So in terms of initiatives, for the fall leadership summit, our bill is there were some issues with it, but it's gonna get submitted tomorrow. I already have all documents for the agendas to send out to the legislators. And thank you to Malika and Lonnie for planning. It's been a hassle, but we're figuring it out. And then right now we're just working on the presentations that we're gonna be presenting on the summit and activities that we could do during it. And then for the first and second level of camp, like we're just like discussing basic ideas, nothing is set in stone yet. And then on Friday, I had a meeting with Marsha about the room booking expansions, and it was really interesting meeting because I really didn't know anything about it. But now I see that it's a big issue, so we pretty much discussed the lack of spaces for student groups, specifically performance groups. It's kind of an issue for them because they need certain requirements for their practice rooms, and there's just not enough space available. And yeah, so her team are currently in the process of talking to other like facilities on campus such as like the Clarice and Rockwell about expanding rooms. And I'm gonna create a list of people slash groups to attend our future meetings by Friday to send it out to her. And one of our main solutions to combat this issue was just to create a survey and to ask neighbors what types of rooms work for them and what they need in them to kind of categorize them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, if you have any questions, slap me. Thank you so much. Nobly, let's move on to the Director of Student Affairs.
So not a huge amount of updates for the commencement name. They're still kind of deciding between two different programs to use within the resource department. I have reached out to other large colleges to gauge their interest. Some of them kind of gave me a wall with feedback, and then others were interested in just following along to the pilot program of what resource is doing. And then if it is successful, they can consider implementing it within their own colleges. The fall reset is pretty much set. It's going to be hosted on October 14th, 4 to 6 p.m. I do encourage you guys to spread the word out to your friends, especially if you know that they're going to be here on Tuesday evening. Repo will be there, Goodies to Go will be there, the sandwiches, and there will also be a campus newsletter going out on October 13th. My legislators have determined or compiled a few dates and times for complaint tabling. This will be open hopefully to all legislators to also participate. I do have to talk to Diego about this later. And then last week, I did have a meeting with Dr. McShay this morning. He has some really interesting initiatives going on through student affairs. This is related to increasing awareness among first generation students, transfer students, also increasing the length and duration of trips after dark. So I'm excited to share this with my community. That's it.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Right. See you, man. Thank you so much. Now move on to the Director of Sustainability.
Hi guys. Sorry about that. Short updates today. We're gonna start planning marketing strategy for this year at full screen that's happening on October 22nd. And then we'll also going to start planning for Earth Fest, which is in spring, but it's a big event and has a lot of moving parts. The purpose to meetings like on November, so we're starting on that. And then we also have plans to start connecting with RJ. That's a big number of ours, and one of our committee members actually has an issue that's being approved. So I'm trying to plan on that as well. So is there any questions right now?
Are there any questions? See you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Now move on to the Director. We now move on to the Director of TNI.
That everyone's doing elections elsewhere. My name is Joe. I'm the Director of Transportation and Infrastructure. Could you answer that in several? Sorry. So safety while planning, we finalized our date. It's October 23rd at 6 p.m. So we'll be meeting outside of the administration building and walking 3 different routes from there to analyze campus safety.
Any accessibility audit planning for committee tomorrow. We can call on it, so keep that in your radar. And that's also going to have like a purple library focus. Um, let's see, CRAD, committee on renaming academic buildings. So we're still running our campus-wide building audit to see whose legacy is sort of like, hold up to the level of scrutiny we should have now. And I reached out to the university relations team to inquire about their room renaming policies. I did not get a response. It's been like more than a week. I just emailed them to follow up and to see if they give us any meetings that we had. I had a meeting with Professor Seki. He's a, I think, graduate professor here at the University of Maryland, and we talked about the possibility of implementing like some sort of UPass program. So the consensus is sort of that the whole like Lana proposed like idea is like far too expensive to justify for like a very like heavily like community campus. However, something that we are considering, and we're going to reach out to a lot of current correction statistics for this, is like subsidized metro cards, so that people who demonstrate some sort of financial need can like apply and then get some sort of like stipend from the metro card maker us or the university. We had a Purple Line Community Advisory meeting. So the second phase of library vehicle testing is going to from New Carrollton up to the College Park Metro Station. So that will start around like the end of the year. So trains still will not be operating on campus for the rest of this year. So that's not something to be worried about. But if you're interested in going to see that, I encourage you to. I asked about the fare system, so it will be a group payment system. There won't be any like gates to getting on board like around Metro. If anyone's taking the Baltimore light rail or maybe just any light rail in general, they will know how this works. Basically, you board without being on school and they check your on the train. Also kind of like how contract does it. I asked about what they're going to do about pedestrian crossings and like the high of like pedestrian traffic that we see your class changeover. And they kind of dodged the question and just said like, oh, students will wait for signal, like the Regents Drive and Campus Drive section. So a little bit concerned about that. But last but not least, our DOTS bi-weekly meeting is on Friday, so in 2 days. So if anyone has any questions, either Slack me or tell me. Those who I was wondering, has there been any, are there any numbers out there that you may be able to tap into about how many Maryland students are on SNAP benefits?
Current SNAP benefits?
Yes.
So, I mean, I can ask you about this, but to be clear, to be a university student, you have to like apply for exemptions to qualify for SNAP. Oh, so anyone that I assume you're asking about, like who's eligible to like receive like a discounted fares for a lot.
Yeah, that's the wrong name. No, that's something to do with income qualification. I was wondering, we have to be exempt. We should fund the way to.
Yeah, so students have to find specific exemptions because, like, in large, students are not eligible for SNAP. I would say it needs some sort of like extra qualification.
Okay, yeah. No, I mean that certainly isn't going to be getting better in terms of.
No, so the SNAP. I think. Did I talk to you about this? I don't know. I think SNAP is like I'm pretty sure SNAP eligibility is concerned by the federal government, so.
Or well, we can.
Yeah. Just
So you guys maybe need to explain a little bit what that is. That gives you the question.
Explain what exactly. So UPass is a program that will not provides for schools basically at a cost this is from their website at a cost of $1 per academic day that you were enrolled. Students can like use like special metro cards to like tap on Metro and Metro Bus at no charge to them.
the issue is, like, does that come out of like our tuition or does the university subsidize it? And I think the answer that is consistently coming from administration and from the previous SGA is that they do not want to have to incur that fee from the student body. Well, I mean, that's what I was talking about, but like as one example, like subsidized metro cards to give people who qualify for like, who like need like a certain income level, giving them metro cards that have like a certain amount of money on it, and that can be cheaper than funding it for everybody. And I also have been asking a lot of if they would consider like what's it called? Sort of like a discounted fare version of that. So instead of paying nothing, the students would pay like some portion of it, and then by extension it would be cheaper for us to pay for. But they pay consistently. Check back in next time. We don't have any information.
Thank you. One more thing. I think I wanted you to know about this, but can you let me know what my thoughts were their meeting results?
Yeah, I can send it by way.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on my mind. Are there
We have like an estimated cost, like what the impact on the UMass would be on tuition of budget on, and you impact on the total cost that it would UMass for the students.
So it's from the Ohio's website, it's $1 per day that you were like enrolled in the university. So however many days there are in each semester, I don't exactly know that number off the top of my head. We've gotten like I asked the former vice president last year who gave me the number from the president last year who gave me the number as the former director of transportation infrastructure, and those numbers were all like hearsay, so I
Thank you.
I wish I do you have a specific income level for the I mean, so it's probably still like in its infancy. I'm just like sort of like talking about it. Like we had this meeting to decide like kind of like what ideas we were going to like move forward with. Um, I don't know exactly what that would be. I mean, someone would have to. Um, I think it would be a question that we ask like after we take applications for it. Like I don't think that we would say like if you qualify under $40,000 a year or $150,000 a year, I think it would just be looking at like how many people apply, how much funding we have to distribute, and then going like up from the least income until we get for. Okay, I'll love to work with you on that. Great. Well, you should join my committee. I mean, I would love to. Okay. Third person.
See, thank you so much. Yes, motion to recess. That's all, guys. There's been motion to recess. Yes. We now move here voting. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? The vote of 28-0 to 1 was voting to raise the county. I need you all by sitting birds. And the board of the but I can't
It's not. It's on. It's part of the Good. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah, it's wrong. It's so even next, it's strange when you would have you even except the two of them. Wow. That's fine. Being from world. Sometimes. Yeah, you get our teams in the order we are working. There's something really about yes. At the end here, we were is Thanksgiving. You know, goodness. Sure, Stein. But it's fun. Extra. Zero is large over the the second is you think so that they don't want to go big process. So I don't think so. Rounds don't have those notions. Not that's been a challenge. It's not very What is it? Joe? That's not right. Look. But I don't think and get to for sure. In terms of it seems like it's supposed to really address that one. Yeah, so it's the girl that goes for in the office. And somebody went up and no, we don't expect like we're just gonna you guys are gonna do great meeting like we're gonna tell them what just the last thing with my knowledge then he actually went to the place geography was great sure it's more just then yeah it's at the committee office such a red us if they're for the father has to look around and leave something zero information yeah, that's there's yes, it's that's no, the party was fire. That yeah, they're not yeah, so they're scared. That's is really big for the excitement to them. Besides there was later there's it's not just some I don't even so I swear you know somebody about something. Like, the and there's like a one time, like, I can just just find out the pattern of experience. Like, yeah, I think we're thinking their current influence very good. Yeah, trying to make sure. And
You know, consider me neighboring clear seats. Returning with all others, these neighboring active seats now, please. And there's no phone, that's not a phone. Over the email, we're gonna see him. You're gonna have your influence. One of the things that we're going to carry. But, See the warrant back in their seats. I will now call that into session to a quiet meeting. We have a wrong with my agenda. We have an update to the city council liaisons. All right, hi everybody. It's back first of the month, so we're here to give our monthly report again, and we have a couple of things to go over. Last time I was here, I talked about the old lease ordinance that we're pursuing at the city level. And at the time, we had a work session with the council, we unanimously agreed to create a draft of the ordinance. Again, to recap, the ordinance says that a landlord will be able to ask a tenant to re-sign their lease until 180 days prior to the renewal date. And currently, city manager indicated to me that there's going to be a second work session on this item to further develop the legislation at the city on October 21st. So we'll be sure to keep everyone updated on that. Another thing this past month, the city has additional tax abatement credits for a variety of different things, including affordable student housing. So to encourage developers to come into the city that are allowing affordable housing to be used, and also encourage more affordable housing to be built in the city. Me and Mayor are happy to support such of that as well. We've been meeting with various council members as well. We met with District 4 delegation this past week over a variety of different topics that we are probably going to go a lot more into. And last thing on my end is we are hosting the 2025 November 1st candidate forum for the elections coming up in the city council. All the seats are up. We're still deciding on a date, but it's likely to be late October or 23rd, 29th, around that. And as soon as we finalize that, we will get that out to everybody. And we're meeting with the Civ directors and teams there to be able to promote some of the candidates, allow them a chance to get their bios on the SGA Instagram account, and to promote the elections. But for additional stuff, I'll turn it over to Amira.
Hi, it's good to see everyone. I'm going to talk a little bit about our advisory council because we've started to get things rolling. We've assigned our first task to our committee, and they're doing a great job. They're helping us out a lot with the upcoming elections that are coming up and getting information out to students, helping us partner with different organizations. Additionally, our applications are still open. They will be open for one more week until the final deadline. So we're still accepting some more people. I also want to give a shout out to Gavin because he's been a great chief of staff. So good job on that end. And then additionally, as we mentioned at the last time we came to spoke, one of our big initiatives is that we want to have student internships on the city council level, especially with a lot of the federal funding cuts. We see a lot of students in need or having a hard time finding these internships. So we've been floating the idea around with council members, and one council member Ranker, is really willing to work with us on this and introduce this to the city council. So what it's looking like is it would be 9 student internships, all with a stipend of $1,000 a fall or spring semester, and they would work underneath a council member. So each council member would get their own intern. So we're still working out the logistics of that, but super excited to see what would come of that. And that's everything. Thank you guys. Any questions?
So I just want to talk through some dates and things. Because there's a little bit less of action that we want to get done before. Is it October 22nd? Meeting?
October 20th.
22nd, like 2 weeks to survive for early release.
So October 21st is when we're going over the second draft and reviewing it, but there's no public hearing date. So we're not sure when there will be a public hearing. It'll come after that.
Okay, I said, I was informed by the city manager that there likely will be a vote before the end of the year, but we just don't know the exact time or Friday, I think that's sometime in late November or early December.
Would that be a council then?
Potentially, so we're hoping it's on the earlier side, to be honest. But we'll be able to address that when we get there, of course. But hopefully it's in later November, because later November still include like current candidates for current incumbent people, council, everything. But we're still committed to talking to anyone is elected on as well and talking about these the importance of this and hopefully still getting habits.
Okay, I mean that's good to hear because I was looking at the weeks up until that. And I was thinking if we can get Bill Sophia and help you out, but if we have time, then we can definitely get that over.
Yeah, for sure. Were there any other questions from the ladies? Seeing none, thank you guys so much. Yogi, now move on to the next agenda item. We have a few bills on the first reading calendar. First up, we have F25-1001A, asked to recognize holidays and heritage/history months. Would the bill sponsor like to give some words about it?
Yeah, this is just a bill for SGA to publicize and just be part of the process of like recognizing heritage months. We also want to introduce a few that are not represented. Um, that's more in the works, but for now we're working with transparent heritage. To get that out. But yeah, this is the first involved.
Thank you so much. This bill has been assigned to the primary committee of communications and secondary committee of DEI. Thank you. Next up, for bills, we have F25-2001B, an act hosting Student Government Association's annual safety walk. Would the bill sponsor like to give some words?
Yeah.
This is like a pretty simple standard bill. Basically, SGA or like T&I goes with DOS and a couple members from like UMPD to walk around different parts of campus to make sure that like health and safety is good. We offer like poor lighting or accessible areas and just like threats to the student population. So yeah.
Thank you so much. This bill has been assigned to a primary committee of student affairs and a secondary committee of TNI. Next up, we have F25-1001C, an act to create a series of online resources communicating the resources of Sexual Misconduct and Prevention Committee. Would the bill sponsor like to give some words?
Yeah, so this bill, I was just beginning our set of initiatives that we have to address the high rate of sexual misconduct that is highly prevalent from the start of the fall semester through the Thanksgiving break period. Over 50% of sexual assaults that happen on campus occur during that time, and it's likely to be called like as quote the red zone, and due to this acute level of this conduct during this time. So to start off our initiatives to address this serious problem, we're going to be creating a series of Instagram posts that are going to highlight some of the resources we have on campus and the amazing groups on campus that exist, and services as well, that are designed to both prevent and also and to respond to cases of sexual misconduct on campus. And so this is just going to start out with a series of getting this information out on our social media. We have almost 3,500 followers, so this would be a great way to increase the student awareness.
Thank you so much. This bill has been implemented to a primary committee of communications and secondary committee of sex misconduct prevention. We now go on to F 25-1001D, resolution to celebrate and promote Hispanic Heritage Month, with bill sponsored by Gibson Turks. Yeah, so this is basically a resolution to celebrate and promote Hispanic Heritage Month. We want to highlight important Latino figures and their contribution to history, and we also want to share Latino campus events from Instagram stories. Thank you so much. The bill has been sent to a primary committee of communications and secondary committee of DEI. We now go on to the final bill, the first reading calendar, we have F 25-1001E, an act to host a fall break reset of Edge, with the bill sponsored by Gibson Burns. Yeah, again, as the student here has already mentioned, SGA is hosting a fall break reset happening right in front of the Kelvin Library on October 14th from 4 to 6 p.m. It will be on the last day of the break. There will be free food, some free just games for you to play and a chance for you to hang out with your friends. So please come again October 13th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So this bill has been sent into a primary committee of student affairs and secondary committee of health and wellness. We now move on to the second reading calendar. But before we get started, I would like to say a few things. I will just say, as I mentioned before, we have heard some people are interested in motion table. So I will explain how this exactly works. There are two types of motions to table. There is a motion to table for a certain period of time, and there is a motion to table definite. What this means is that if anyone is motion to table, they either have to specify how long they're motioning the table for, or they have to say they're tabling it indefinitely. For the purposes of debate, for Article 6, Section 6, Line 1G of Standard Rules of Order, only a motion to table for any length of time, or when this bill from the table is available, that is to say, only a motion to table, let's say, 2 weeks, 1 week, 3 weeks is available, but a motion to table definitely is not. I just wanted to explain that. We have on to F2509, like F250924A, resolution urging the University of Maryland and University of Maryland College Park Foundation to implement boycott, divestment, and sanctions against complicit institutions and oppression of Palestinians. Would the committees like to give their report? We have student affairs.
Thank you for some votes.
Yeah.
So for non-violent student votes, we have 5901. And then within the legislatures, we have 302.
Would DEI director also explain the vote for their committee?
So I don't have them separated, I just have the total, but it was 7301.
So at this point, are you here to how to actually agree with the committee report? Yes.
Oh, wait. It was 502, sorry.
Okay, thanks so much. If you recognize, just to provide my clarification. Yes. After we did the process of ID checks, the DEI binding count is 6200. Or I guess 6201, sorry. So we're all good, sounds good, sorry, I want to make sure the motion's right. So at this point, we have the committee report from student affairs and DEI. They're both favorable, but the only committee report we'll be looking at is the student affairs. So the way we do this is that we have someone, I would favorably outline a motion to confirm the committee report. Someone has to say it. Motion to confirm. So if there's any motion to confirm the committee report, we will now enter a period of voting. All those in favor? This election, this is just to go on the report, not the itself. Okay, all those opposed? All those abstaining? The roll call for the is 0 to 1. We have approved the committee report. We now move on to the bill itself. Yes.
Motion to table the bill for 1 week.
Okay, there's been a motion to table the bill for 1 week. We will now move into a period of voting. Yes.
Wait, sorry, I don't. Motion to debate, sorry, I'm still understanding the questions.
That's fine. So what you meant to say is that you object to the motion to table for 1 week. Yeah. Okay, there's been an objection to the motion to table until 1 week. This means we now automatically enter a period of debate. There will be 10 minutes distributed equally on either side. So there will be a 5-minute timer here. And now it's on to more here. Okay, I will ask who would like to share or the affirmative side.
I'll take care of it, because I made the motion.
So who's taking the affirmative one? Side? Okay, so you'll be taking the affirmative side and you'll be taking the negative. Okay. So since I review those motions, you can begin claiming yeah. Remember to read the letter of the so the thing.
Okay, I say tailed as much time as I may consume. Alright, so I know, as we all know, this is a huge issue, and we've been waiting for this for so long, and it seems like a really big deal to push it back for 1 week. However, I think pushing it back for 1 week is essential because our duty as the SGA is to let all the students, regardless of their affiliation or of their perspective, come and testify at student concerns. And today they weren't able to test one group of students who is very affected by this bill wasn't able to testify to student concerns, and regardless of if this bill will inevitably pass or not, it is our duty as SGA to let this group testify to student concerns. And further, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the deadline for the universities to submit the financials is October 15th. So pushing the bill back for 1 week really won't have any effect on when this issue is going to, like when we're going to divest. And I understand this is a super urgent issue, but moving it back 1 week won't have any effect on the urgency of this issue. And I yield my time to anyone else.
Anyone else?
I yield my time to the public policy representative.
Thank you so much.
seem to yield as much time as that they consume. So we have the votes for this bill, we have the time, and I think we just have to think about, given those things, whether we want to make a statement, and the statement that we know we're going to make today, if we choose to pass this bill. And I know there has been hurt in the past, and there have been holidays ignored, and we could say that there's been harm from who we see as the other side on this piece of legislation. And I'll be fully transparent here that I'll pass this bill with you all in a week, and I support it. But that if we choose to go down this path, that is kind of a statement that says that we choose to fight the same way that we've been fought in the past, where we could be better. And I think if we give it time, we cool down the conversation around this bill, we get a lot more credibility because we chose to do something that a lot of people who disagree with us will respect. And I just want us to take the decision that we have with this table. And, we will get back to this issue in a week and we have the timeline set. So this will still matter if we pass it next week. The action that we take today has a lot of consequences for our potential danger civil people. And I just don't want to see that happen if it's unnecessary. In my eyes, I think we can wait this week. What do I say now? I yield the rest of my time, or reserve the rest of my time.
Yes, okay, so you will return back to the chair. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on behalf of the? Okay. And this particular answer.
Okay, I yield my time back to the speaker.
So much. Now on to the affirmative. Selena?
Okay. So I just wanted to address one thing real quick was that last night there was a post made targeting different legislatures and different members of SGA. And this is just not surprising from how the Zionists, who are fascists and racists, have always done. This is their agenda, but I want to address the urgency of it. If we push this bill back a week, that will put us to the 2-year date of when this genocide started. I mean, in actuality, it has been going on since 1948, due to the Nakba, where all of the Palestinians were forced out of their homes. But as we've seen in the last 2 years, we've visually seen on social media where the occupation is invading and blockading Gaza City. We see that people like Hassan from Gaza, who's the same age as all of us here, by the way, if not, the younger individuals here. She's been documented genocide from her eyes for the last 2 years, repeatedly calling for the world, repeatedly calling for people of morality to speak out for her faith, for her and for her people. And I think we have that duty to do that here. And if we push it back again a week, we're just ignoring our calls. We're ignoring their calls, their cries, the calls of fathers who lost their children, the calls of kids who are now orphans. And I think that because of the moral responsibility we have to this, and also the mandate that we have from previous elections, which had the biggest turnout in SGA elections in recent history, we have the moral responsibility to do it, but also we have to recognize the fact that the committee reports were favorable. Committees were both during times where students could have participated and voiced their concerns, but that was not done. In fact, the concerns during these committees were in favor for the bill, which again further the mandate that we have for the referendum and the mandate we have from your standpoint. I seek to you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak on? Go ahead.
I seek to you my time for this.
Hello, everybody. So following along this line, I think Zara really touched on the urgency, which in this moment, Gaza has faced a genocide and is actively being invaded and blockaded. Gaza City is being actually fully cut off from the rest of the strip, and the Israelis are planning to massacre everybody inside there. And this is their express state plan. So the urgency is now. We actually do not have a week to wait. And people, children, adults are already dropping dead from the starvation that this country, as well as Israel, are forcing together. On top of that, today we have the Global Sumud humanitarian flotilla that was carrying nothing but life-saving aid, including food, baby formula, and medicine, be illegally intercepted on its path to going to Gaza.
and attacked in international waters. This is of utmost urgency. In Italy, in my country, we have tens of thousands of people that immediately got on the streets when the flotilla was attacked. There was a 1 million-person march last Monday. There's going to be another fucking general strike this weekend. This is the bare minimum, is that we actually stand up to the Zionists here and now. And this connects directly to the fucking doxing that they did against our sisters who are in this SGA. This is unacceptable. And this is something that unless we actually don't let them fucking silence us, will only get worse. It will only get worse that they'll try to target them harder. They'll try to target the rest of us. The only way that we can get past that is if we all stand together tonight and we say we're passing this fucking bill. It's been almost 10 years that we've been trying to pass a bill that says that we're against genocide and we don't want our school to support genocide. And we don't want our school to be helping to build the weapons to murder Palestinians in Palestine and use those same tear gas canisters that they use to oppress them over there against our black brothers and sisters here in the US. This is a struggle that is united. And our SGA has a role to play in that. We have a role to act against this complicity. A role that we cannot ignore and that cannot wait 1 week because it's already waited over 70 fucking years. There's really no delay. Unless we're trying to side with the racists, which I know for a fact that I'm not. Because I was raised to see that every one of us is an equal person. Constantly. And Israel marches on with its final solution of trying to exterminate all Palestinians, and the fascist Zionist entity attacks the humanitarian aid flotilla that was trying to break the illegal siege of Gaza. The bare minimum we can do is pass the divestment bill right here, right now.
That is all the time for that for that was the negative. Is there anything else we can say?
I yield to the public policy representative.
I seek to yield as much time as I may consume. And I hear everything that's being said and I understand. But I also fear that there's just a possibility that happens where we have our people's faces out there in a very hostile climate. And if we pass it tonight, all they'll see is that we did exactly what they said we were going to do. And that adds fuel to their fire against our people. And I think it's very realistic that that's the situation that we may put other people in. But if we win, we'll always be able to say that we didn't do what they said we did, that we waited. And we have an opportunity, as you all said, to honor an anniversary with a strong statement. And I think that message is a lot more powerful than what we said if we pass it today. This is not about dilly-dallying or waiting on something we've been waiting to do. It's simply about thinking about the situation we're in today, which we did not ask for, and thinking about what it would look like if we choose to move forward today. And I have a lot of heart for everyone who's being targeted right now, and I have a lot of fear of when they happen. And I think it's something that we all can consider. Voting to table this for a week does not mean that we're not supportive of the movement. It does not mean that we are complicit in waiting, but it means that we can take a step to protect other people. Because immediately the action we make tonight will be seen by other people. It will be watched. And there's power in that. And I think we should exercise that power next week and make that statement. We take the wind out of the sails of other people who are criticizing us and threatening our people. So that's just the point I'm going to make. And I say that as a friend and as a supporter, not somebody who's trying to undermine your processes. So that was just something I want us all to consider. And I reserve the rest of my time back to the chair.
Is there anybody else who would speak or
I yield my time back to the speaker.
Okay, seeing that the affirmative ran out of time, and there's nothing else left to be said, we are now, yes, sorry, we're now calling, which means that, we have to now vote on this motion on the table for 1 week. So, all those in favor, please raise your placard.
Favor as
like in favor of the motion of like motioning the table at all. All those opposed. All those abstaining. Okay, with a vote of 2 to 27, this motion table fails. So at this point, seeing that there been a failure to table the bill, we now have to vote on the bill itself. Committee report has been approved, so seeing no objections, to the passage of the bill, we now move into the voting. All those in favor? Okay, all those opposed? All those abstaining? With a vote of 28 to 0 to 1, this bill passes. Thank you so much, everyone. We now move on to the House bill on second reading of the bills. Sorry. We do pass 250924P and act to promote the sustainability committee's funds meeting with communication insight to give committee work.
Yeah, that was 5 to nothing.
Thank you. What's the sustainability committee work?
It was 9 to 9.
Thank you. I look favorably upon a motion. Thank you. Let's move on to approve the report. Thank you for the motion to approve the report. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? With a vote of 28. With a vote of 28 to 0 to 1, this bill passes. We now move on to the next bill, which is F25C, is it regarding September 2025 application from
Just for consistency, the Mesa just brought up, we voted to accept the committee report, but not the official.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm tired. Okay, sorry about that. Rather than the judges that have been filled from F25 and the rookie, not sustainability committees elsewhere. Seeing none, you will now go into the period of voting. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Sir, I will vote 28 to 0 to 1. This bill passes. Now we can move on to F25, which is bill, let's see. Look for it to get real station.
Yeah, first, good evening, but people here, my name is Oscar, I'm the CFO for PFA that we want to use. So last week the committee met and we reviewed the budget applications for the September cycle. And then yesterday and Monday we met for appeals with, I believe, 13 groups to appeal their decision, and we came to a final amount of a little over $90,000 allocated for September. Yeah.
See, you wanna go through your voting? All those in favor?
Wait, point of parliamentary procedure.
Yes.
Sorry, I remember when I was just initiated, the new ledge can't vote on the funding bills until they're finance trained, correct?
Yes, that is true.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so. I should have listed this name.
Yeah, not already years. Wait, point of information, what was Saturday or Sunday the day that finance training happened? For retreat?
That was during Saturday. So. I.
Point of information, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
If we attend the spring retreat, would that also have a financial training? Because I was sick during the fall, but I was there for the entire spring. Yeah, the spring and the fall was the same. I was perfect.
Yeah, if you were there for the spring, you're good, you're next training. So the people who are, I want to call them out, but please, to those who know you're finance trained, please be the ones to raise your hand. If you know that you're not finance trained, please keep your hand down. Okay. Seeing no objections to this bill, we will now move into a period of voting. So all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Would vote of 17 to 0 to 1. This bill passes. We now move on to the next agenda item, which first up, we have student body president updates.
Hi everyone. In the next week, I have meetings for the University Senate Campus Affairs Committee, which I serve as an ex officio member of. And early next week, my regular one-on-one with President Hyde and Assistant Vice President Chief of Staff, like Campanietto. A few announcements is that because several committee directors have shared reasonable requests for having a second deputy of their committee, I'm lifting the cap of one deputy director, pending a Google form submission that directors will have to fill out to explain the need for a second deputy. Also, as some of you know, Cabinet currently meets at 12 on Sundays. We are going to be voting on whether or not to change that time. For those of you who are here right now, this Sunday is still 12. Applications are still open and rolling for several deputy directors, liaisons, and the student group public defender, and many of those interviews are already underway. And then finally, a regular plug to take your headshot at Perfect, and a new plug to fill out our portfolio city of director surveys, which they spent a lot of time on. And lastly, welcome to our new legislators. It was really cool to hear your introductions, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to know you all. Any questions? I will also be answering any questions on behalf of Maria and said.
Seeing none, we can now move on to executive vice president updates.
Okay, I'll read it for you. She says that she has a meeting next week with the assistant director of marketing at Epley and the associate director of programs. This was an initiative she was describing to provide gym hours geared towards women so that women can feel safe and comfortable at the gym. And then Rihanna is also working alongside me, interviewing people for some women liaison positions.
That is all. Thank you so much, Trevor. We can now move on to the bill of council. Where's that? What's this?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry.
It's outlined. Yes.
Parliamentary procedure. I don't know if this is like the wrong to this, but for the bill of 2024 to this bill, how are folks who votes going to be influenced?
So the legislators who were able to be here today sent me their ballots, their drafting, so I'll just check that they voted on them and then I'll just add it to the.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. It's I'll be sharing about time this week. So for this first summit, do you want me to just like skip the slides or just steering through them or?
I'm pushing it, so we're not allowed to make any decisions.
So basically, a lot of tests. So most of this is going to be in and around the library or just studying mostly. So this is him on the deck. We were studying outside at night. We were outside. We enjoyed the view a lot. And then we met one of the friends who was recording the novel we were working on, and he wanted to help with that. So he did some of his own recording. And then he continued. He met his cousin over there, the studio, and then next, he had to study some Russian, and he learned how to spell his name in Russian. Very exciting. And then yes, then he fell asleep. It was really late, so he fell asleep studying Russian. And then we went to the Fort Fort McAllen, very exciting place lately. And he studied some geography, very exciting. And then we had to write a paper about it, really cool. And moving on, yes, and it was my parents visited, so it was a very special guest. He got to meet, very exciting. He was a little quick at first, but as time went on, they they slowly became better friends. And alas, that was the end of Ralph's journey. Yes, well, okay. We have to actually choose a number. For sure, you know. And we'll well, Kansas is how we're going to choose the next person for a round, so it's pretty insane. There we go. You think that we're restarting this semester, we can start at 100 so let's say a session, we're starting with balance. So, my second for example, that's all. Yeah. The starter shoutouts are in the search line where you can submit them, and also in the SGA office where you can scan the QR code and submit them. So basically, it's just shouting out our officers and the good things they do. And today I have two that was submitted. So this is for Leonard Coleman. He's the head of elections commissioner. And now basically this is supportive for others to be respectful, recipient, continuing observant, well informed, he was responsible. And he said the person who submitted this said he reviewed, interviewed, and prepared for the entire PC committee at the time of the school year, at the start of the school year, and he also distressed the comment. Yeah. And another one was for Diego Hernandez, speaker, and the person submitted this to me. Diego is the foundation of SGA. He's always helped legislators and find ways. Some way has a attitude. The history is a conflict of that, and I think it's important to recognize. We appreciate his work he does. He answers questions honestly, respectfully, and goes above and beyond to make sure the history functions properly. He is thorough in his work, respectful in his speech and manners,
attentive to constituents and legislators' needs alike and responsible in accomplishing his mission. Shout out to Diego.
So much. Um, I would everybody apologize. Thank you. We have now moved to adjourn.
Wait, no, don't go yet. Okay. What are there? How are you? I can't. Too much of what so. All right. Something like that. And these concerns, they didn't know. So,
Turn home for fast. It was so weird to make.
The mic. But yeah, where's the live stream? Let me talk to them. Hey. I turned that off. Hey.